Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Tape Debate, previewing the start of the brand new Premier League season. I'm Tim Hiley. This is my co-host Joe McIndoe. How are you doing this evening, Mr. McIndoe?
Good, thanks. I'm hungry for some Premier League football. I've got bored of pre-season now. It's time to get going.
To be fair, I got bored of pre-season when it started.
I mean, at least the thing with pre-season is no matter what the game is, um, you know that it's not really that serious, and basically clubs just turn up with six substitutes, and then the game turns into a complete farce.
I know, and it's just my main problem is the atmosphere is just not there
I
at
know,
at a pre-season game. I mean, there was only 8,000 at the Real Sociedad game. And it's just
especially,
sort of like,
and you
oh,
weren't
come
there, I might
on.
add.
I wasn't there
No, but
because, it was,
it's very odd when you're used to 25,000 turn up, and then 6,000 turn up for the pre-season game, and it's kind of like sometimes polite disinterest would be the word to describe it.
hmm.
But nevertheless, we are here finally with less than a week to go now for the Premier League season. So we thought we'd preview each club and see what we think their chances are of A, winning the title, or B, surviving the Premier League.
Or whether they'll just be mid-table mediocrity.
Oh, yeah, that will be fun, won't it?
The teams that aren't good enough for Europe but are too good to go down.
Something like that. So that will probably, well, I was going to say, I was going to give a prediction there, but we'll save that for the preview.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
let's start, shall we? Arsenal.
Indeed. Arsenal, right.
So basically, um, my view on Arsenal is summed up by the following sentence: they couldn't win a raffle if there were two tickets in the basket.
Okay, explain that slightly peculiar statement.
Basically, my view on Arsenal is that
They
they
couldn't
play
afford to
nice
buy the
football.
ticket to begin with, but say they've got enough money to buy a ticket, but actually don't have enough money to buy a
Actually,
ticket, so therefore doesn't buy a ticket.
I think Arsenal are very fairly well financially run. I don't.
But are they? Because I mean, you hear all these, talk about Arsenal having lots and lots of money, but all the players they've targeted this summer are
No, no, no.
players that are out of
Not
reach.
not lots and lots of money, just not that big a debt. Their
Yeah,
debt's well
yeah,
managed.
yes, no, but there has been quite a lot of talk about them, striking up a deal with a shirt sponsor or whatever, and they're getting a quite hefty fee from it.
Sums of money. Good for Arsenal.
But
Maybe
but
spend some of it.
is the money actually there? Is the point I'm trying to make? Because if you look at the players they've been linked with, Rooney,
Oh
they're never going to sell him to Arsenal.
no.
Suarez, same. Higuain,
But
Fabregas, all these players, Cavani, all these players are players that would never go to Arsenal or that the clubs would not sell to Arsenal. So,
mm,
in my opinion, the money isn't actually there, and that they are, you know, linking themselves with players that are unavailable just to turn around to the fans and say, look, we have got ambition, we are trying to sign these players, but unfortunately it's just not falling for us.
but
That's my slightly controversial, but
I'll
that's my
I'll
view on
I'll
Arsenal.
get to that in a second when I play both sides because I'm going to try and defend Arsenal slightly. But one thing the reason I think Arsenal are a bit like couldn't win a raffle if there were two tickets in the basket is because you'll know this that they play beautiful football. They play lovely,
They do. Carzola
irresistible.
was an absolute gem of a signing.
They play irresistible football. And when you go up to the Emirates and you get them on a good day, you're going to get stuffed, as happened to our club, Saints. Um, However, the thing that Arsenal don't do is they're not consistent. They do league goals, they play nice football, but don't score. That's the problem. And when they do score, they concede. And you just don't know quite what to expect from Arsenal. Are they going to be, show shades of that kind of invincible side of many years back, or are they just going to be, uh, uh, you know, a shock candidate, you know.
The
Or
other thing is that Arsenal normally start well and finish well, but there's that time in the middle where they totally fall apart. Because I mean, towards the end of the season, it is always impressive to me how they can always get the results they need to, and you know they always get like loads of results and end up finishing fourth every year, and they always start reasonably well. But it's
mm,
that period of October, November, December, January, Feb, that sort of middle period where Arsene Wenger always comes under criticism, gets rumoured for the sack, and then each year he turns it around and they finish fourth.
my
And
personal
and
view.
and incidentally, that's an incredible achievement. Finishing fourth in the Premier League at least every season
Oh, it is.
since
It is.
Arsene Wenger took over. Some years they've finished higher, sometimes they've won the league, but since Arsene Wenger took over, the lowest they
But
finish is fourth, which is an achievement.
but I will state again. I will state categorically for those that have listened to this our show before that getting
Got both of
fourth
them.
in the yes, both of them. Getting fourth in the Champions League is not the same as winning the flipping Premier League title, Wenger. It's not.
Yes, but they have won the title.
It's not the same thing.
They
And
have won the title. They have
they
won the
have.
title.
I know this, and congratulations to them for that. But Wenger tries to come out and say that fourth is as good as winning the title. It's not. It's not. Um, but in Arsenal's defence, they do play nice football. And in regards to your financial point that you don't think the money's there, I mean, to be fair, we Southampton have proven that you do not need to spend ridiculous amounts of money. You just need to spend, you know, wisely.
To be fair, Arsene Wenger's shown that with, signing the likes of Omri in the past and Fabregas, getting these players on the cheap and then turning them into superstars.
Mm, yeah,
But he just seems to have lost that.
that
Either,
touch.
either he's lost that knack or the
He
pressure from
hasn't.
the fans have, stopped him from signing these.
I just
You
sign
know,
it. I just look. You're a manager. Just sign the players and get on with it. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, and you get sacked like every other manager. But you've just hold your head up high. Because the thing that's always impressive about Arsenal, they've always done well with their youngsters. They've always brought through good, solid, you know, credible talent. A bit like Saints, and they've always
now,
trust.
can I just cut in there? I don't think they have brought through good talent. I think they've bought good talent from other places.
Mm,
Because if you look at the players that have actually come through Arsenal's youth system from start to finish, it hasn't actually been that great. It's mainly the players like Fabregas that they've signed from Barcelona, players like Theo and Chamberlain that they signed from Saints.
but they always show potential, don't they? Because you see them in. I know you love this competition. I know you love it, but the Carling Cup, they always do really well with their youngsters, and you'd think that they would be there for the future, but for some reason they just can't translate that
In
into.
fairness, they haven't won the Carling Cup in a long time, and they did get knocked out to Bradford.
Yeah, but in defence, I mean, those shocks happen.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you say it's a real. They always do really well in the Carling Cup. When was the last time they actually won it?
I don't know, but to be fair, we haven't won it in an awful long time.
Yeah, because
We've
we
never
don't want
won
to
it.
win it.
We've never won it. That is a rubbish excuse. That is a lame, and I repeat, lame excuse. We
We
do
don't.
want to win it.
No,
We
no,
do.
we
We
don't
do.
want to win it.
We do.
We,
But
we get
but
we're
that's a
getting off
debate.
topic.
That's a debate for another. That's a debate for another time.
I
Um,
believe would be Wednesday, possibly.
Potentially we will come to Saints. Um, but Um, yes, they haven't won it for a while, but even to get anywhere with kids um, is a good is a good achievement. But for some reason, Arsenal seem to have a mental block. They just can't win things. I honestly, I mean, if there's any Arsenal fans out there, watch their team at great expense, I might add, because the Emirates is very expensive.
Oh,
Um,
very expensive.
uh, if you have any insight, having seen them week in, week out, we'd love to hear from you if you leave a comment on the page. we'd appreciate it, because on paper Arsenal should be winning the league. They play beautiful football. They have
No, I don't think they should be winning the league based on the
well,
squad they've got.
I
Because
mean,
based on the squad they've got, are they better than the squad Chelsea have got or United have got?
well, but you think of the style.
I think they've definitely got potential to be top three,
Hmm,
possibly top
what
two.
not? I mean, do you think that they're worse than Manchester City? We're getting
Yes,
it.
yes, I do. I think, man, I am, I do like the way Arsenal play and whatever, but I do think that Man City's squad is probably deeper and got more of those standout quality players that Arsenal, with the exception of Cazorla, Arsenal haven't had since they sold Van Persie.
I mean, is that the problem here? Just squad depth. I mean,
Quite possibly, quite
I mean,
possibly. And can I also just point out another
you
thing?
can. Yes,
Is
you
that,
can.
I was saying about how, they've been linked with all these players and whatever.
Mm.
The only player they've signed is Yaya Sanogo on a free transfer. And
So
I played with him on Foot Manager. He is a good player, but that's not exactly the point. The point is you're being linked with Rooney, Suarez, Fabregas, Cavani, Higuain, and you saw Yaya Sanogo.
it's kind of like being linked with being promised a Ferrari, and then getting a
A
kind
Ford
of
Fiesta.
exactly, not a bad car, but you wanted a Ferrari.
Yeah,
But
and
let's
and
be
the, and
fair.
the and the thing is, as I say, is that if are they putting their expectations on signings too high, or is it the simple case that they actually don't have the money and they're deliberately linking themselves with slightly ridiculous players because they don't actually have the money to back it up?
Well, bear in mind, I don't know if it's always the club doing it, the linking. Sometimes the agents will deliberately
Hmm.
kind of push their player forward and say, "Oh, we link with blah blah blah," just to attract attention
And I will
from other
also
clubs.
point out the 40 million and £1 bid for Luis Suarez.
That's just a tad insulting, isn't it? Really, that's just, oh yeah, we've unsettled a player, so we'll just put in an extra pound just to get him over this you know supposed clause in the contract,
Mm,
um, which in the end may actually work, because Liverpool and Luis Suarez are basically in a massive sulk.
mm.
It's a
But if it does go through, it'd be interesting to see Arsenal's financial books after they've just lost 40 million, because, like you say, they are well run, um, and it would be interesting to see whether I'm right and whether they actually didn't have the money, and the fact that they actually signed this player would come as a bit of a surprise to them, or whether they actually do have the money to back it up,
but do you
and they
think
just
that
got
would?
unlucky all summer.
I know you, because you, the problem is when you lose Robin van Persie from a club, you
Mm.
can't replace him. But
No.
at least with Luis Suarez, what you bring to the club, if he decides to actually play for
It's
you as opposed to
controversy.
sulk.
That's what it brings to the club. It brings
Oh,
controversy.
no, no, but he does, for his credit, when he's not being a big baby, bring you goals, which is something that Arsenal need.
Yeah, but at what cost? You know.
Well, at the
That,
moment, 40 million pound, 40 million and £1 plus
yeah, well, that was a rhetorical question.
plus
I was more referring to, you know,
plus bad press, I would
a
imagine.
lot of bad press. Um, the racism scandal with Evra, the biting Ivanovic. Would
Hmm.
you, no matter how many goals he scores, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be very wary of this signing.
Basically, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. If I thought a player for my club, for Arsenal, for whoever, if I thought a player was a bad influence or just get more,
Trouble than it's worth. More trouble
known
than he's
more for
worth.
his bad press, I'd say get lost, because he's just going to disrupt the dressing room.
Exactly.
I do not want a baby at my club, and I'd rather I'd rather you bring a hard-working youngster up who may
Like
not
Yaya
get,
Sonogo.
who won't get as many, yeah, exactly, who will not be, who won't get as many goals, but probably will work his socks off for the club. So have you got any closing thoughts on
Well,
Arsenal? Where do you
my,
think they'll
my
finish?
yeah, I think I'm going to say third.
Mm, third.
I'm
Okay.
going to say third. Whereabouts are you putting them?
I'm going to put them fourth, holding off Tottenham yet again
To be fair,
because
Tottenham's chances do depend on Bale, but that's a
well,
conversation for Thursday, I believe. Um,
mm,
but no, I think Arsenal. I think they've got the squad quality, and also I think with I think Chelsea. Yeah, I think they'll obviously have competition between Chelsea and Man City, and possibly Man United, depending on how they fare under David Moyes. But I'm saying third.
that's actually interesting because I forgot about Man United's. For some reason, I briefly forgot about Man United's. Let's say interesting circumstances with David Moyes. Um, so I'm going to revise and say third. Actually, I'm going to push it up one.
Excellent. So we're actually in agreement.
We are in agreement because as we'll get on, sorry, Man United fans, I think you will struggle this year.
Mm. Certainly by
I
Man
will,
United standards.
I will say no more until we discuss Man U in more detail, but I think you'll struggle this year.